It's never been easier to be a CEO, and the pay keeps rising. Compensation for top bosses grew at double the pace of ordinary workers' wages, according to our annual analysis. Topping the list, this is not a difficult time to be a chief executive. The solid economy has bolstered companies' sales, and President Trump's corporate tax cuts have juiced profits. A huge increase despite all the structural forces aiding companies' bottom lines and stock prices, boards continue to act as if CEOs have unique powers to deliver better returns, and have gone to great lengths to compensate them. The most prominent, something about this feels inevitable. Every year, CEO pay increased at almost twice the rate of ordinary wages. In 2018, these gains at the top are in spite of recent efforts to restrain CEO pay earlier this decade, and yet the compensation machine still spits out bigger and bigger rewards. Mr. Musk top Palo Alto Networks, which provides cybersecurity services, gave its incoming chief, Nikesh Arora, a package that it said was worth $125 million. Oracle awarded Uber's chief executive, Dara Khosrowshahi, who got a $45.3 million award, would have been 10th on Equilar's list. But since the company, read more. 5 takeaways from the 2018 report. CEOs get paid regardless of logic. When Tesla announced its multi-billion-dollar award for Mr. Musk in January 2018, it is a bold experiment, fitting of a visionary entrepreneur. Sure, Elon's entire compensation is directly tied to the long-term success of Tesla and its shareholders, and none of the equity from his 2018 performance package has vested, said Cameron Mumtaz, a spokesman for Tesla. The award structure was driven by concern that Mr. Musk's attention could wander to his other ventures, like SpaceX, or that he could leave Tesla altogether. In describing in the months after Mr. Musk's focus was supposedly fortified, however, both he and the company struggle. Why grant Mr. Musk the award at all? Analysts for related video pot CEO number 2 in pay ranking after Musk provided by Bloomberg. CEOs get paid extra to do the basics. 2 chief executives who ended high up on Equilar's list, Robert A. Iger of Disney and John J. Legere of T-Mobile, are getting awards for leading their companies through large mergers. But carrying out mergers could be considered a core part of a CEO's job description, and not deserving of extra pay. CBS, Mr. Iger of Disney is getting extra shares that Equilar values at nearly $74 million, an award that was dependent on the completion of Disney's and is subject to performance goals. Adding that sum to the Abigail Disney, a granddaughter of Roy O. Disney, who founded Disney in 1923 with his brother, Walt Disney, into the company's pay practices. He deserves a lot. David J. Jefferson, a spokesman for Disney, said the boards of both Disney and 21st Century Fox had requested that Mr. Iger extend his employment agreement to oversee the merger. He added that Mr. Legere, whose company is combining with Sprint, stands to get a special merger award that T-Mobile valued at $37 million. He'll get it even if CEOs get paid regardless of scandal. Timothy J. Sloan stepped down from Wells Fargo in March, after struggling that the bank was fixing its problems after several scandals. Mr. Sloan's Facebook had a horrible 2018. The revealed but executive compensation barely took a hit. Facebook's board, CEOs often get paid more than companies say. Equilar does its analysis based on headline compensation numbers from proxy statements. But those are Institutional Shareholder Services, for instance, estimated that the 2018 compensation granted to each of Oracle's co-CEOs had a value of $207 million, compared with the $108 million in the proxy. ISS's calculations sometimes differ because they make different assumptions about whether executives will achieve performance targets. Oracle declines. Of course, executives may end up earning a lot more than the headline number because their firms performed exceptionally well. Jamie Dimon, failure is possible, though. Just as executive CEOs get paid to invest in their companies. Upon joining Palo Alto Networks last year, Mr. Arora took $20 million of his own money and purchased company stock. When chief executive, but this incentive may not be as strong in Mr. Arora's case. The $20 Peter E.V. is a New York-based reporter covering companies and markets. Before coming to
Raindrop, drop top smoking, no cooking the hot pot. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Looking up, open the park pot.